Hey, so it's our wedding anniversary, our 5th this year, and each year we've always done like the traditional wedding gift, like they used to do in the past. So the first year we had done paper, the second year which was, I think I got her a card. The second year I think was, third year was leather, and then she got me a belt and maybe something else, and I got her a portfolio or something like that. And then the fourth year was, or the second year was cotton, that's what it was. So we got a big blanket, and then we got embroidered in it like our wedding date or whatever. It's kind of like an old school looking blanket like you'd see at your nanny's house or something, so that looks kind of cool. And then the fourth year was flowers, I think. We were actually living in the camper during that one, so we had picked flowers, I think, on the property then. And I think fruit was part of it too, so I think we actually picked out some chocolate, fruity flavored chocolate or something. But anyways, this year is now wood, so we're going to make a sign, an outdoor sign for the property. For when we pull in, we're going to make a Mapleberry Farm sign. So we're going to show you the process of us doing that right now. We're not no pro wood makers or anything, but we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so we picked up these stencils here at Michael's and this pine board at the Home Depot, and we only have one letter of each one, so we got Mapleberry spelled out there, and obviously we have to take the F and add the ARM to it from Mapleberry, and we're gonna spray paint it and see how it goes. So I'm starting to measure out around these stencils here just to make sure that the stencils all line up the whole way down. So I'm going to measure it out for the top, and I'm going to measure it out for the bottom ones there, and that way there all the stencil will all be lined up real good, so all the, everything's nice and straight. The sign makes sense, and yeah, it all comes together nice. We definitely are not pros at this, and we just kind of winged it did it on the fly as we went it, but it seemed to be working out, so we chalked the lines, make sure they all stayed lined on there pretty good, and marked it on for both rows that we were going to do, for the Mapleberry and for the farm part. And there's Ashley saying hi. And we only have so many letters that actually were doubled too, so when we actually went to do it, there was only I think only doubles of maybe the vowels, like A, I, O, U, I think. I can't really remember, but so we had to just line all these ones up here for Mapleberry first. So we just placed them all. What we did was tape the first one, and then just taped each successive one after that to the next one, just to kind of hold it down. So once we were using the spray paint, because that's what we used here, I'll show you here in a minute, we used that to spray paint them. And yeah, so it held up pretty good. We just wanted to make sure the spray paint didn't blow it away. So as I did, I just set it right on the chalk line I had put out there on the wood. That's a piece of pine. It's a piece of rough pine, 1 inch thick, that we picked up at Home Depot. I know it's not normally what you would want to use for outdoors, I think. Maybe cedar would be better, or harder wood, but we're hoping, because we're going to seal it, that with some something to kind of, tree decking, basically, that'll hold it up for a while. So, some people built decks out of 2x4, and, it held up with treated. So there it is, the trim clad rust paint, and I just spray it on there. Pretty straightforward, really, but I love this paint. I use it for everything. I've used it on my cars for years. Just flat black trim clad. And I bought flat back basically so I could use it on other stuff. I've been using it on Jeeps and just anything, just to, fix up a imperfection really easily. Flat black, and it doesn't show up nearly as well with flat. So there's peeling it off after the first top row, so you can see Mapleberry there pretty good now. Don't look too bad. Serves a purpose. There's farm all done. So we pulled that off. We got all those stencils at the Michael's. If I'm not sure if Michael's how much they are around North America, or if they're just Canadian or they're American and Canadian. I'm not sure, but it's just a craft store. I mean, if not, you can guarantee get them at anyone. So now here I have another stencil from one I had from before. So it just has a couple little arrows on it. So I'm just going to measure those out and put them, match them each side. And they're just what they are. They're both pointing to the right because this sign's going to go on a big tree that we have when you pull into our entrance. And then it's going to point to the laneway or the roadway in that will take you up into the farm, I guess, right? So I just sprayed those and did the same thing I did with the other one. Just taped it down to hold it down quick. Marked a couple spots so they were even, and now I peel those off and got a couple little arrows. Looks kind of cool. It just felt kind of like there was a space there under Mapleberry, where farm is such a short word. So here you can see it just kind of filled that space a bit. Mapleberry's pops a little better than farm does. That's probably just from the overspray, the way I sprayed it. But again, we just wanted to put any sort of a sign together that just would look pretty cool, right? We like I like the looks of kind of an imperfect looking sign that anybody can just do it and still serve the purpose. That's pretty cool, and it doesn't cost much to do it either, but add some character. So now we're just gonna cut that off. So we put it on there first, so we didn't go and cut a piece that would be too short or anything like that. So that's just the way we did it, and worked out fine. So now we just measure out so that it ends the same, about an inch or so at the end of the last letter. We mark that off there too, and then yeah, we just mark that. And anyways, this was really it was fun to do today because being our 5th wedding anniversary and doing those traditional gifts every year, like I said, the card and the cotton, which was the blanket, and then the leather, getting the leather things, and then the flowers, and then this year's the wood. So it just worked out really cool because we're going to be on the property really soon, living there, and we wanted a sign, so just putting together a wooden sign and working on it together. We kind of, I don't know, it's pretty cool to do that together as a couple with it being the wood, right? So we thought that was pretty awesome, and it's good for you to do stuff together, I think, right? So I just cut it off there right where we had marked it. And now we get the sign down at the size that we're looking for, right? So what we're going to do now, we just, yeah, it looks all right, right? We just move this, move the piece we're not going to use, throw the sign up here. I just move that sawhorse over. Ended up getting those sawhorses there at Canadian Tire. I know you probably don't have them down the States, but Canadian Tire has just like the greatest deals. And those were, I think, like 85% off when I got them. But anyways, there's the sign, and you can see the 2 arrows pointing to the right. That'll look pretty cool, and I think it's big enough that you'll see the tree is in a bit. Before I get to that, this is the cedar, the weatherproofing that we're going to put on it, and it's like a cedar tone to it. So I paint that all on there just to kind of give it a finished look and to protect that pine, since we just used pine, right? Because it was pretty cheap for that rough piece of pine at Home Depot. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't too much. But yeah, having that from the road, like I said, there's a big there goes Sammy running. There's a big tree when you're first pulling in, but it's in about, I don't know, maybe 10 yards or so. It's not very far in, but it's in far enough that, and we're gonna put this on that. So, but you'll be able to see it from the road, so it's gonna look really cool. I can't wait to get it on there now that it's now that we got this finished here today. But what we're doing anyways here is I'm putting all that cedar paint on there, and it just said to use a light coat, right? So and you just want to make sure that you have all you're just covering all the holes, so there's nowhere like, because this is a rough piece of pine too, so there's definitely a lot of imperfections on it. It's not real smooth. But I found that because it was rough, that this here the weatherproofing would really absorb well into it, but at the same time you had to keep dipping it in quite often to because it would suck it up so much. But you want to make sure that you don't leave any, of the natural grain still showing, so you could see it covered up, so no rain's going to get in, or snow and wherever you're at kind of thing, right? That's what we're hoping on, anyways. I'm banking it off of just what it said to do, right? So it ended up, we were kind of anxious. We didn't really wait that long for each thing to dry, but it ended up being no big deal. It was a hot day, and it still sat there for, before we started painting, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe longer. And then it really didn't matter because it was like 30 degrees out, 30 Celsius. So that's like 60, maybe 85, I think, for Fahrenheit. Somewhere's around that. That's a formula I learned a while ago. Was if you got a Fahrenheit, because we work with Celsius up in Canada. If you have Fahrenheit, you just figure out you get to cut it in half. So if it's 80, you cut that in half to 40, and then subtract 15. It's probably 25 Celsius, right? I can't remember. It told me, like, a buddy of mine's mom said it, and I think it's accurate within a few degrees. But anyways, so we got it all done there, and there it is. There's the final thing. I flip it over, painted the other side later, and we're happy with it. We like it. We can't wait to put it up. The longer it dried, it actually came out and looked even better later on. But and then I held it like against the wall and stuff later. But it looks pretty cool, and it's super cheap. We have all kinds of the sealer left, all kinds of the paint left, another piece of wood to make some more signs because we want to make road signs and stuff. But thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to our channel and like it, please, and share it. Thank you.